Whenever someone says the words Family Guy, three things have gotta pop into your mind. 1. The show Family Guy, the media juggernaut. 2. The memes, the funny moments, the Joe Swanson. And 3. The games, your Family Guy pinball, your Family Guy game. Today though, I have a gift. This'll blow your mind. Do you like MMOs? Role-playing games. Those little games that suck every minute of every day out of your schedule and slowly make you a corpse. Well, what if you combined the most addictive type of game and one of the most iconic franchises in modern history? You get Family Guy Online. And you're probably thinking, right? What is a Family Guy Online? Well, the guys over at Roadhouse Interactive and 20th Century Fox had an epiphany, and that was to combine a comedy cartoon with an MMORPG. The amalgam of these two ideas were first revealed on June 16th, 2011, with plans to launch the game in October 2011. It was a free-to-play game and ran on Unity, an engine that I've actually used before, so I'm pretty glad that I've been on the same soil as Family Guy Online. Not to mention, this game was also a browser game, which is nuts. And this game looked fantastic for a game from 2011. The graphics were cel-shaded, which automatically made the game age like wine. IGN's Nick Colin's comments towards Family Guy Online would prove to be very telling of the game's fate, being that the shell-shaded art style showed a lot of potential, and secondly, Family Guy Online could also just be a total no-effort cash cow. Hard times came for Family Guy Online, and the game was delayed, launching in 2012. However, to quote a certain Shigeru Miyamoto, a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. And being a massive fan of Family Guy myself, I was a very happy 8-year-old to find out that Roadhouse Interactive saw potential in Family Guy Online and wanted to make it the best it could possibly be. On the outset, it would seem that Family Guy Online was in a developer storm, but you know the saying, after every storm comes a rainbow. Come April 17th, 2012, the floodgates finally opened. The vast majority of Family Guy fans were able to get onto the Family Guy Online servers, as finally the game was in public beta, after being in a strict private beta for a few months. The fans were hyped for Family Guy Online, as it received positive reception before and during the release, with such comments like, "It is funny because Family Guy does not make game, and now they have made the game." Gosh, the levels of pure irony the Family Guy fandom operated on back then was bonkers, and not much has changed. Here we are in the past. What exactly was the gameplay of Family Guy Online? Reading the summary for the game, the first thing that comes to mind is the usage of MMLOL, an acronym which would become known as Massively Multiplayer Laugh Out Loud Game. The second thing that is noticeable about the game is the graphics. As mentioned earlier, this game is a browser game, and goodness grief, it looks gorgeous for a browser game. Honestly, I suppose the most important aspect of any RPG is the character you play as, the vessel, and Family Guy Online does this fantastically. You make your very own Family Guy OC. This is by choosing a class. Classes in RPGs are essentially skill sets you choose to have. Most MMOs have this archetype as it splits up the monotony and allows for better teamwork as you have to work to cover your teammates' weaknesses. In the case of Family Guy Online, there was 4 classes you could choose from. You could have Stewie, Chris and Meg, Peter and Lois, with Brian coming later in DLC. Boy, I can't wait. First we have Stewie, your glass cannon, who is a fragile character with a lot of damage power, and he knows weapons of war. Then we have Peter, who serves as a tank, because he's a very chunky man. He has a large range of attack due to his sheer size. Next we have Lois, who is the healer class as she's the mom. She also does foxy boxing, whatever that is. And last and least we have Chris and Meg's class, who don't really have any strong points. I mean, they have a potent attack called the Spaz attack, which is their words, not mine. Apparently neither Chris or Meg were unique enough to get their own character slot, which is why they were crammed into one, which is pretty funny. Even then, you're not actually playing as anyone from the family. You would choose one of the characters and then you would be able to design a character that looks similar to the main cast. Getting into the game, it is actually a really faithful recreation of Family Guy's set. There are so many little details in the game which help to heighten immersion, like Joe's wheels turning on the loading screen, like Wagmar making a signature noise whenever he appears. Loading into the game, the missions essentially revolve around helping characters out, like you help Chris, you help out Peter, etc. The game was a masterpiece, straight from the get-go, but there is one problem, that being the amount of loading screens. Now, this has nothing to do with Joe, but rather, this was a problem with the game being a browser game. And for that, you would be correct. This is where the kicker comes. Whenever the loading screen would come up, it would advertise to you all the cool stuff you could buy. This not being with in-game currencies, but microtransactions, which I want to get out of the way. It's actually pretty understandable, as the game was a free-to-play game, and you could buy more gear, more characters, and consumables. Honestly, to me, it looks like you're buying stuff in the game, which wouldn't just give you cosmetics, but rather, it would give you a competitive advantage. Which is fine with me, but for a lot of players it would probably look annoying to have the iconic buff pig locked behind a paywall. It wouldn't be all sunshines and rainbows though. There was a wrench in the Family Guy Online ecosystem that proved to be detrimental, this being the amount of reworks the game went through, including a version that was made for Facebook. So, for the purpose of this video, I blame the demise on Facebook. Okay, but it's not actually the fault of Facebook. The death of Family Guy Online is the most hilarious thing I've heard of in a while. In an article from Play For Real on the 24th of December 2012, the title being, Family Guy Online shuts down after discovering most players too stupid to play game. The article mentioned that the cost of reworking the game continuously to be easier meant that the game couldn't continue, leading to its early demise. Now, you're probably asking, why was the game reworked so much? The player base of Family Guy Online didn't understand how MMOs worked and therefore didn't like playing it, which led to them dumbing down the combat system substantially. And I'll read a direct quote, but most players couldn't get past the rock paper scissors battle system. In fact, there were quite a few players that asked whether or not Lois would become nude after she makes a sex joke, and spent most of their time trying to attack the Megan NPC. The president of Roadhouse Interactive asked Seth for help, and he just responded in a depressed and upset tone, and the president ended it off, mentioning, no wonder why Seth stopped working for Family Guy. Thankfully, they shared statistics of how players got on with the game, and it's all the more telling. 90% of conversations between players were Family Guy quotes, and secondly, 70% of players could not progress past level 2. I don't know about you, but it is so funny to me to just imagine being an active player and a majority of the chat was just Family Guy quotes. It's even topped off by the funnier figure being that 70% of players didn't progress past level 2. The comments on the thread were also very telling about the intellect of the Family Guy fandom. I'll show them here. What killed Family Guy Online was the fans of Family Guy, and I think that is the biggest and funniest takeaway possible. It wasn't all bad though. There was light at the end of the tunnel. The president of Roadhouse Interactive, James Roadhouse, gave a tidbit of info that them and Fox were now beginning development on Cleveland Show Online and American Dad Online. The ultimate question being, did this go anywhere? No. Thank you for watching. I genuinely appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you want to, and here's another Family Guy video I made. See ya.